Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Heroes of the Storm discussion. I have no idea if this is going to become a thing or not, but it is too good an opportunity to pass up because today we're going to talk about the leaked alpha client. With me today is going to be JK Kennedy, Zenstyle, Squishy, Thilodrin, and Sophist, all guys that know what they're talking about majority of the time. Say hello, guys.
What's up? Hello, guys.
What's going on?
Heyo.
He said I know what I'm talking about.
I know, maybe that's
Ridiculous.
He added in disclosure majority.
Majority. Yeah, I know, right? I have to protect myself in case your fans are here and they can disprove it. So it's more about the protection of my brand. But guys, alpha was leaked, and I didn't actually expect MMO Champion to be kind of the leakers in this regard.
It wasn't originally leaked on MMO Champion, but they were the ones that took the data mining to the next level.
Yeah,
So
they picked it up and ran.
Who
with
is
it.
this Simic guy then? Anybody know? Edo?
Who?
The guy that actually leaked it. It's the post was created by this article was originally published by Simka. Is he...
Oh, no. It was originally on the Heroes of the Storm subreddit, which linked to an owned core forum, which is now deleted, so you can't even download the thing anymore. But I did.
Oh, so you have the client now, do you?
I have the client.
Oh my. Okay, well, Blizzard, I don't know this guy. I don't know how he got on this podcast. Yeah. Whatever legal actions you need to do, he's on that side of the screen over there. So just leave this part alone. But yeah, So, I mean, with the alpha client out, we just talked about this recently about what we're thinking about release dates on the Stormforged Heroes, hosted there with Squishy, Sophist, as well as Thilodrin. And we're like, my prediction was March. I think most of you guys were thinking about March as well, for that we'll likely see a beta. And now that we see a client for alpha, I think we're a little bit substantiated in that.
What the hell did I wind up saying? March 1st, or was I March 31st?
I didn't even look at the notes for that show, to be honest.
Yeah,
so.
I think I was March 1st. So, I mean, it's looking like it might not be March 1st. I'll be wrong, but whoever said 31st, they might be right.
I said
Yeah.
31st.
Yeah, it's
You
looking
said
like end of
1st.
March, early April.
There we go.
Kind of coincide after the Diablo 3 release, right after, give it some time to cool down and get it out.
Well, it's a good time for them to upset Elder Scrolls coming out.
Yeah, the Elder Scrolls, they got EverQuest next. There's a lot of stuff actually coming out in the next
Titanfall
bit.
beta.
Not that anybody cares. Smite launches, but
Out of beta? Out of beta?
Finally, after
yeah,
what, 2 years?
they can't play.
Out of beta. Alright, so what are the things that we got to see here on the alpha client? Well, if you go over to the MMO Champion website, fairly sure I can get you a link. Kabam! There we go. In the chat. The login screen and some of the option stuff, but that's not really what we want to talk about. What we want to talk about are these babies, the heroes, and maybe the maps, but a little to talk about. So let's take a quick look first at the map, since it's going to be quick and clear. If we take a quick look at the first one, it will be Blackheart's Bay. So I don't actually see any difference here. Collect doubloons, turn into balloons, bombard your enemies, but hell if that isn't a sweet background.
Yeah, it looks exactly the same. Obviously, you know, we had the developer matches for that one, so nothing too crazy there with that map.
Ooh, something I noticed.
Yep.
Bombard your enemies. The number of doubloons required increases each time you enlist Blackheart's services. That's something we haven't heard about yet, has it? Is it?
I
They
don't...
probably never really told
No,
us. We just
it's been
kinda
10.
watched
It's
them.
been 10 each time.
Right.
It's been a flat 10,
That's an
so...
anti-snowball mechanic in a way.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Then 50.
So...
Nice catch.
What is the... I wonder what the increase then would be. Like 10, 12, 14, or 10, 20, 30? Because that's a big
10,
difference.
15.
Well, I guess
don't-
something they can always tweak in order to reduce snowballing.
It's a powerful objective, though, because one cannon shell takes out like 3/4 of a turret's health.
Yeah,
so,
it's like 1 to 3 shots to kill, right?
It's actually one of my
yeah.
favorite game modes to watch, just because you can actually kill people and take their coins.
yeah.
Yeah, it turns into a whole bunch of mini team fights just based around that, and you get someone that has 10 or 12 coins on their single persons, and they're just... It almost looks like they're running for their life. They don't want anything to do with anyone.
It's like Catch the Teemo. It's Catch the Teemo, except, you know, he has
Yeah.
coins.
Catch the rich enemy. Yeah.
And then when you
Yeah.
kill them, it's just a fountain of glory comes out.
Oh, it's so good.
Fountain of Glory. I like the
Pick it all
wording.
up there. That's the thing. You have to go run around and get it all.
All right.
Does that happen in every game mode? Like, if you get a kill, that just gold just flies out? Like, that's what I'm looking for. That's what I want.
Downloadable add-on for
You
money.
don't need
There you
gold
go.
other than this one.
Blizzard, mod your game, have it downloadable for cash. Bada bing, bada boom. No problem. All right, so a little bit of change on Blackheart Space. Second one was the game that we actually haven't really seen the devs play on is Dragonshire.
Let's actually read this carefully.
It's I am.
All right, so
Nothing different from BlizzCon.
control the shrines. There are 2 shrines. Pretty obvious. You control them. Free the Dragon Knight, and I believe the Dragon Knight actually takes over a hero, right?
Yes.
Or
you
you
become the
or you
Dragon
become, and then devastate enemy forts. So obviously he's going to be a big pushing mechanic, just like Blackheart. The cannon takes down the forts. Use this big ass dragon to take down your enemy's forts. I don't think that's any different than what the previous BlizzCon information was, but
No.
I wasn't there, so.
I do feel like we haven't seen much of this mode because either one, they're trying to make it trying to keep balance in some sense still, or it's just not as fun maybe as the others because it's just pretty straightforward on its objective.
The
Yeah.
wording, may suggest it's not intuitive whether it means you become the Dragon Knight still, or
What happened to Justin?
what?
It's very
Justin told to be.
Oh, well, there he goes. This is exactly the reason why I didn't want to do screen regioning for webcams. Because there's always going to be these issues. Anyways, but yeah, so control the shrines, free the Dragon Knight, devastate enemy forts. This is like the map being reworked, though, right? I mean, that's why we haven't seen it in devs.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's, as we spoke
What-
about last night, it's probably because you're out of lane so often. But
What
who knows?
if the Dragon Knight is just like a grave golem, like you don't control it anymore?
Well, it is, quote, being reworked. It could turn into
Right.
that. Yeah.
Because it says to free him from his prison.
Yep.
Would it not be better just to say to become, or something like that, or to absorb the? I don't know.
I think this was basically what you saw at BlizzCon when you played this map. Was this splash art? So I don't think. I still think you're becoming the Dragon Knight. I think the issue here was that it was so hard to take over the Dragon Knight when you played these games. That these were the games that went
Yes.
longer than 20 minutes. That went way longer than what they wanted when they envisioned. Okay, these games need to be done around the 20-minute mark. These were the ones that you go north, you try and take that tower, you try and take the shrine down bottom, and then you got to hold on to those while someone tries then to take over the dragon. And
it's like a
it
6-7
took a
second
long
channel.
time. It took a long time to be able to do that, and you had to be significantly ahead of your opposing team, or get really lucky in a team fight and split up to accomplish this. So, I think maybe that might be where they're looking to somehow shorten this game. I don't think it's as drastic of a change that people are thinking that you're going to see.
But playing as the dragon is fun as shit, though.
Going beyond the 20-minute mark does not seem to line up with what Blizzard has stated, what they want to do, what all the dev matches have given us the impression of. So yeah, if that is a big reason for the rework, I can understand. But seriously, like, I just really want to see what, because I never got to see this actual game type. I don't think in public. Is there even a VOD, a publicly available VOD of it?
Not
think
that
so.
I know.
Like
It was
maybe
also
over
the
the shoulder
subreddit.
from someone, right?
Yeah, it was over the shoulder VOD from something Star, the Chinese convention.
Yeah, not exactly solid stuff that we can look at, but I mean, either way, that's what Dragonshine is looking like. Third map of everything, as my computer is desperately trying not to die. Cursed Hollow, we've seen a few times. Collect your tributes, curse your enemies, cursed forts and minions abound, and we've seen very powerful mechanics coming up from the devs using those abilities. I think it was our last one, right? The one where we had Day 9, the second match that he didn't
Correct.
actually do, and we saw some really powerful pushes and strategies with the curses there.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
the curse is another one of those major primary objectives where you see something. I mean, you get the curse. I mean, the whole entire team becomes less useful. Like, their minions get basically one shot by you. Their towers stop firing. So it's huge, huge.
Yeah, a minion wave will probably, because the curse lasts about a minute, a minion wave will probably walk through a fort by itself if it's uncontested.
I'm just saying R.I.P. Justin Kennedy because
Can you hear me or not?
Yeah.
Well, I don't have a webcam.
I'm on my phone right now until my computer finishes loading up. It went boom.
Dude, like the picture that it's
Fantastic.
using is amazing.
Commitment. That is commitment right there.
That's good.
All
Let me
right.
get on this.
Blizzard said no.
Blizzard's Damn it, they killed JK instead of Squishy.
You told them at the corner, and they looked there, and they saw me instead.
All right, but I still don't see anything different here on this splash art compared to last, but still, it's a pretty kick-ass looking background if you look.
Yeah, all these are pretty awesome, actually.
And that'll leave us with the first one, the Haunted Mines. Venture underground, collect the skulls, unleash the golems, plural.
Yeah.
Probably one of the most tactical maps, for that matter.
Well, it was also the only split level map that we've seen.
Also, the hardest map to play Abathur on. It sucked because you got 2 maps to be aware of.
Can you teleport underground
Yes.
from the top to the one below?
Yes.
In theory, it should be
You're-
easier
it's-
to do that because you're deep tunneling.
It's exactly. He's burrowing, so it
It's much
made
harder
sense.
to ETC up, and then you go down.
You can
I
teleport,
jumped
place
through the
mines.
ground.
It's a bird, it's a plane, it's
Yes.
ETC! Bam! Right through to the next level. Quite true, but yeah. But you were there, like, Philodrin. So it
Yes.
was literally, you have kind of like half-sized maps, right?
It wasn't. I'd say it's about 2/3 size.
2/3 size maps.
Two 2/3 size maps, and that was my impression anyway. But yeah, I didn't get a great look around them because again, I was playing Abathur. I was more focusing on. As soon as I realized what his abilities did, I'm like, oh, well, I'm not leaving the base. Okay, so then I was just focusing on all my allies, but I had fun on it. It seemed like a nice map.
I mean,
I can't think
we've
of
seen
anything wrong with
it
it.
now twice. Once at BlizzCon, once with Day 9. And again, it looked very golem centric. I mean, we got to see 100-0 difference in the golems, and I think it was Squishy. Like Squishy, you and I, we took screenshots of that health bar. We tried to calculate the differences, and it was just immeasurable. Like really huge hit point differences between them.
Mm-hmm.
I will say the one thing I like about this map is the counterplay that's available here is like the fact that they were just able to say, yeah, we don't care about this Grave Golem. Like, it seemed like a map that's very well balanced already, which is pretty cool to see.
I think there's a lot of room for kind of divergent strategies based on what you want to do on the map in any given situation. Like even if, like as Selphus was saying, like even if your opponents have like the big golem, you can kind of make a decision that's not like a total wash. Like you can go do something else. I honestly, I'm looking forward to this map probably more than the others.
That's the thing. You don't even need to have like the majority. Like you're gonna get a golem if you get like 40-60 and you have 40. You still got a golem. So if you decide while they're completing it, you could go ahead and start pushing, giving your golem a clear path as soon as it spawns. Because they spawn right back up where they dropped dead. So
That said, the giant golems were pretty brutal. The ones that were really big, those were not to be messed around with. But they don't actually really target the heroes, so it's kind of just a matter of holding them off. It's kind of they do AOEs, but they don't actually they have nothing to target the heroes. So,
Targeting the heroes would make them pretty easy to defeat. Just kite them all the way back through a gate, and then they just kind of bug out, right?
Yeah, definitely.
That's a very WoW-esque tactic. Like Ultrak Valley, you summon a big boss. Yeah, whatever, we're gonna push, and some hunter just kites it all the way back to,
the giant ice tree just being kited all the way back.
Yeah,
I
to
remember that back in the day.
or the general, or what, I don't even remember their names anymore. But
Yeah.
So not having that, like going for the buildings, that's what these are meant for. Push, 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 end the game. If you could actually kite them, I think that'd be a little OP. But
can I point out how small Diablo is compared to this Grave Golem in the splash art?
In the splash, is that actually Diablo in the splash art?
That's Diablo. There's Arthas.
Yeah.
And
There's
Nova?
Arthas right below him. And
This
Kerrigan.
Grave
Oh my
Golem
goodness,
is
you're right.
huge.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna say it again. When beta comes out, one of the first games I'm gonna play on this map, I'm just gonna break even 50-50 as close as possible, and then just base race the other team and see what happens.
Well, as long as you get 50, they won't have a more powerful golem. At least you'll be 50-50 if not a little
I want to
different.
see how that goes. I just
Kite Kazakh with
See,
Stormwind.
that's what I was saying
Yeah,
earlier. There's a
exactly.
lot of room to kind of like mess around and see what actually you can pull off in those kind of situations. More so, I think, than like Blackheart's Bay, which is pretty cut and dry. You either get Blackheart a bunch or you don't.
And it's 50-50. Then it depends on, do you get siege minions, do you get other mercenary camps, or do you just group up and go, balls to the wall, all 5 with the golem or against their golem?
It'll come down to strategic, the strategic accomplishments of your creeps and your pushing and all that. But
the only thing that sucks is the golem is always in the same lane, I guess. Either you have the top or bottom lane that the golem runs in.
Yep.
But if you cleared out the bottom lane and then your golem spawns the top one, it feels a lot less useful to you, maybe. That'd be kind of annoying.
It might be random. The 2 games we saw had different lanes for the 2 golems. Or they
but
just
as soon as they're set, then you're basically going to have to. I guess you'd have to play it based on where they are.
Yeah, you'll have to adjust your strategy since you can't really control it. So.
And that'll probably make this the most entertaining map to watch. Period.
That's what I'm saying. I really think this is going to be the most fun map in general.
Yeah.
I really think it's going to have the most room for strategy. Like, it's not going to be. I think the other ones are kind of going to be mechanically forced. There's, like I said, Blackheart's Bay. You either get the coins and get Blackheart on your side, or you don't. Versus this one, like we've talked about, even if the other team has a big golem, you can just start trying to base race them. You can start looking to get mercenaries of your own. There's just a lot of room for kind of like on the fly strategy, which is going to be very entertaining.
all right, so those are our maps. 4 maps going out with the alpha. Hopefully Dragonshire is actually somewhat playable, because so far we haven't really been able to publicly say maybe the next Q&A, maybe it'll be exactly that, sate the appetite. Now, we did have a question in the chat. Are all the maps going to be in rotation? And from what we can tell, yes. I mean, we were talking about this again, Stormforged Heroes, and I'm going to reference that a lot.
Storming the Nexus.
Whatever,
right.
Storming the Nexus, you guys win, everything. I'll put a link in the chat, just... But talked about it, we're going to have those 4 maps, and likely if there's a solo queue mentality, and there probably will, it'll be these 4 maps. It's going to be random. At least we think so initially. So I haven't seen anything to say that contrary to the opposite, and until we actually hear that, that's how I'm going to keep my opinion at any rate. But those are the 4 maps that are going to be coming out. All those loading screens are fantastic. But we also have, how many heroes is this? 23 heroes on Alpha. That's not terrible. In fact, I think that's actually more than Dawngate. And I've been playing Dawngate for
we also
almost
don't have Nazeeba on there, who hasn't played in every game. Oh no, she is. She's just not.
Yeah, Witch Doctor's on there. But
you tricked me earlier.
Witch Doctor's right there.
It wasn't.
Top middle.
Hey, Squishy, it wasn't on there. I looked for it. They put him on later.
But he's there now.
That's what. But
Nazeeba
also,
is a he, as far as I can recall.
I think there's skins for both male and female. I think they're doing that with all of the Diablo 3 characters.
Diablo female, Diablo male, Diablo thing. Yep.
Whatever. Demonic Tyrael is still the best skin so far ever.
Let's talk a little about these. We're going to go basically through them left to right, downward. And first one is going to be something of a new style in MOBAs. It's going to be Abathur.
Oh, I love the Abathur.
So tell us about him then.
All right. Playing him, I saw it's like, this is a very hard hero to play. Warning: do not play if you are new to this type of game. I'm like, ooh. So immediately I went for him.
Immediately. Naturally.
Yeah. His cooldowns for infest, where he infests an enemy, an ally, is 4 seconds. And you can drop off and then be in a new ally within 4 seconds. So it's really quick. So you can bounce around your entire team and give them shields, give them a little spike explosion, shoot spikes out. And the way I went, I ignored his little locusts, because the first one I saw attacking didn't even move a minion's health bar, and I'm like, okay, these things are worthless. So I buffed all of his infest abilities, his Q, his W, spike burst, and all that stuff, and it was really powerful. I saw a one-on-one between an Illidan and a Nova. I don't know. It was level 1. It was pretty evenly matched. I infested our Illidan, and Nova just dropped. Pew, 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 dead. It was beautiful.
I can't actually fill the screen with Abathur.
That's okay.
That's annoying. All right, well, we get this white bar. Say Livy.
He's pretty.
He's he's a hottie. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
He totally can.
I like his ability. Like, just the thing with him is his ability to be anywhere on the map at like any time he wants to be. Is something as far as I know, I'm really only League centric. I haven't seen a lot of other games, but that's pretty unique as far as I know. The ability to be anywhere on the map at any time without a long cooldown behind it.
There's a Dota hero with that ability, Furion, I believe.
Malfurion, but that was his ultimate. That was the teleport, I believe. I'm thinking like from Dota.
His
Malfurion's
ultimate's
teleport.
that crazy lightning.
Oh
bolt.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay, yeah. He had
totally
the
not.
Nature's Wrath.
Yep.
Nature's Wrath was.
So Abathur's from StarCraft. He's clearly not for noobs. So don't jump into him and think you can master him. But in terms of abilities, Symbiote, Toxic Nest, Ultimate Evolution for his abilities.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
You just it's not global range, so you actually got to go out and get closer to an ally, but you just clone them flat out. All abilities. The only limit is it puts their ultimate on a 10-second cooldown when you clone them. But you gain full control of it and not your Abathur self. So I'm guessing if they track you down and kill you, you'll lose control of it because you're pretty vulnerable there. But 2 Illidan's on the map, amazing. 2 Hyperions going in different paths over each other, also amazing.
Well, I think that's what makes him though his very hard difficulty as they have listed. Like,
hammer.
not only does he play that, he has to play that very map awareness character. But if you're playing Abathur, you got to know your entire team's abilities, how they work and how they play, and so that when you clone them, you can be efficient as their clone and stuff, and be useful as it, not just run in there and spam your buttons, not knowing what they do.
Yeah, they should put a warning. Don't play Abathur unless you know how to play every single other damn hero.
They should have a mastery system, and you have to have all the other heroes mastered before Abathur unlocks.
So like the
He's
StarCraft
gonna
2
be a real
challenges,
treat,
he's like bronze, silver, gold, Abathur. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the difficulty rating. Something I noticed here, Mr. Zenstyle. There's a Q, there's a W, there's an R. Where's his E? There's no
His E
E.
is his teleport.
Yeah, I don't see it on the article here.
Yeah, the deep tunnel is not listed.
It's
Yeah.
listed under his talents,
Right.
if I remember correctly.
And that's what these are down here. And it does look like, in terms of talents, everybody has their own specific talents, but then everybody has these, local ones. In fact, the first ones, Talent Bucket T1 AP. Great name for it. 10% ability power. Now, I've also seen 10% damage, 10% health, 10% attack speed. So a whole bunch of them are going to actually go for that. But, these talents, Qs and Ws, and where's the E? I don't see the E actually anywhere.
That doesn't seem to mention it.
It's
Yeah.
there. It's in
it's-
spirit.
Swarm Tunnel, Zed.
Oh, did they make his tunnel?
What am I listening to?
Because Z is your mount key.
Yeah.
For all your other heroes. So
Maybe-
did they make his tunnel his?
Oh, that's
mount?
right. He doesn't have a mount. Abathur does not have a mount.
Because he can deep tunnel.
Right.
So
So
that's
that.
probably maybe that's what it is.
So he's literally missing then an ability.
there it is. Z Swarm Tunnel. Z
Yeah.
Deep Tunnel
Yeah.
also spawns
That's
3.
exactly what I
That's
was just looking at.
different. Yeah.
I could have sworn we had more abilities than that when we looked at level 1 Abathur in the VOD, but
In the
I
VOD.
very well could be wrong.
In the VOD, his E was his deep tunnel, and at BlizzCon when I played him, it was his E.
So, looks like they've moved
Z
it.
didn't do anything
Yeah.
because he had no mounts,
Looks
and
like-
his passive was spawn a locust every 20 seconds.
Deep Tunnel also spawns 3 locusts at the destination. That's what it says here. For
They could ju-
it's a tier 5 ability though.
Considering they data
But
mine
think of-
this though, the deep tunnel is not a tier 5. Swarm tunnel itself is.
Yeah.
That's an additional effect to his deep tunnel.
But they also list the hotkey that it affects, and Z is mounts or passives or
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I think it might be just from data mining. It was probably notified as his movement maybe, and maybe it's remapped in game to go to E as an ability and stuff and show that way.
Okay.
Okay.
The other thing about Abathur is after he infests you, of course, he replaces his skill sets, and you can see here some of the talents actually affect that. So, Symbiote Spike Burst, a level 2 talent, or a tier 2 talent, increase the AoE of that by 40%. We got Grooved Spines, Regenerative Microbes, Ballistospores. Toxic Nests
There you
can
go.
now be placed from unlimited range.
It's
Unlimited.
actually, it's pretty good.
That's amazing.
Then you really don't have to leave your base.
You never just get to that lane so you soak the experience for your team. Somebody's coming, run like the wind, or
But the
burrow
problem
like
is
a
wards.
trimmer.
That's gonna get nerfed.
It shares it shares a tier with a heal on your little shield, because a shield and a heal when you're infesting somebody was amazing.
Yeah.
And it also shares
Double
with the range
defensive.
increase on your Q.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
It's
amazing.
only for 7 health per second. I guess that scales with
For how
something.
long though?
I think it's as long as the shield holds.
Let's say 5 seconds, right? That's 35 health. Doesn't sound like much,
But
but
the shield is
I agree
for...
I agree with Justin. That has to scale. Like that has to be a number that goes up because we were looking at like some of the starting health pools right now, and this is obviously subject to changes. But some of the tankier heroes were starting out with close to 1,000 health. So I would imagine that number's going up.
but this is
don't
also
think-
heals, right? That also shields.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
it's-
still, like, so 5 seconds. You said that's 30. That's 35 health. What's an auto attack do? Like
At level
8?
1. At level 1.
Well, let's
for
go look.
Abathur,
It's
it
up
says
here.
31 damage.
Hey, check it out.
Attack damage 31. So you save yourself an auto attack over the course of, let's say, 5 seconds.
Yeah, but that's for Abathur. He's really weak.
But
Like
everything
Nova,
scales,
like,
right? That's how the game is set up. There's no items,
Yeah,
no
everything scales.
levels.
Yeah, I'm gonna think. It has to scale.
That's a lie. There's levels. There's no items. There's no. What's the other word I'm looking for? I think it's
Gold.
just items. Okay. There's no items,
Items,
so
yeah.
it has to scale. It's all dependent upon that.
Doesn't stupid.
So Swarm Tunnel and Venom Spikes, so like also slows enemies. That's pretty awesome. Adrenaline boost, so increase the movement speed of target by 40%. That could be amazing. Chasing down someone, no problem. Infest, get out there. Adrenaline boost.
I think he's
Yeah,
just gonna
his
be.
ability to
I
just
think he's
walk.
a support character's dream, and really as a character,
Yeah.
He
like
kind of is. Yeah.
Well, there was a character. Obviously, someone was saying they were more League of Legends oriented. I was personally more Heroes of New Earth oriented for the most part. And there's a character over there called Empath, and basically she's very similar to this character, only without the ability to constantly teleport around the map. Like her ultimate ability is to jump inside of people, give them speed bursts. She makes a life link with another enemy here or character that heals them. It's gonna be, in my opinion, it's gonna be very much like that, except with a global teleport. Like she amplifies their damage while inside of them, amplifies their attack speed. It's a lot of fun playing that kind of character as a support, and I think this is just going to be even better because of the ability to constantly be on the move. It's going to be a very intuitive play style. Like I think it's going to be something for veteran mobile players to really enjoy.
Yeah. I have a question with this though. Here's one downside that might happen with Abathur, right? We've made a big deal about experience in each lane.
Yep.
And having to have a champion in each lane.
Yeah.
If you're infesting someone and Abathur's not going to technically be in a lane, right? He's going to be infesting
Correct.
people in the lane. So you have a
Depends.
solo lane that goes down. You now have to move someone over there.
Depends on
Like,
if your locust counts.
Yeah, that would make sense. If
Oh,
you
that's a
can
good
sit
question.
outside that lane and just push your
'Cause
locust
that's
in
what
there,
we
then-
saw in the latest deathmatch. Because he was behind the
Yeah.
gate using his locust to push. Does that count as experience for the team or not?
It must, because
Doubt
if
it.
not, you're putting yourself at a pretty big disadvantage. Like potentially at a pretty big disadvantage.
You can also just
and
hide
he
and
can-
push.
Well, even when he is infesting, he can constantly shoot out his spikes or whatever it is, which dealt pretty. When I was playing it at BlizzCon, was not that bad damage wise, especially
It was,
against minions.
Well,
and
it's
stuff.
more. I think it's more about the adjustment you have to make sure to make sure you're constantly getting experience from there.
Yeah.
I think that's, and
Yeah.
I think if that's the case, it won't be an issue like as teams get more acclimated to Abathur. But initially, right off the bat, it's going to be something where you might notice you're getting less experience as a team, and that could be the reason why. And it's an adjustment you'd have to make.
Yeah, definitely. Like your whole team is going to have to like that. My point was like I think that your team is going to have to be kind of veteran MOBA players because
Yeah.
taking Abathur might, if not played right, put your team at a severe disadvantage.
Yeah.
Your team is going to have to work around you or with you, and if they do, you're going to be rewarded.
You need
Let me-
you would need a pusher in the 1v2 lane or 2v3 lane, or Abathur would just have to babysit that lane,
Locust.
or something of that sort. Because if not, you're just gonna keep getting pushed in. The tower's gonna run out of ammo. And then you're
Well,
basically.
yeah, I think the babysitting is where the problem comes in. If he has to babysit the lane, then his usefulness overall is greatly diminished because he can't go support the other lanes and support the other people. So you definitely would need somebody who can handle their own
I'm going to give Zen Style the last word because we could talk about him for ages, but we have 22 other heroes to go through. So.
Oh, God.
Well, I guess one thing I would say is when you look at other heroes and other, like, League of Legends, Dota 2, or Heroes of Newerth, there are definitely heroes that you pick just because of, like, their raw strength and ability. Like, obviously, in my opinion, here's Newerth terms with Pyromancer. It's just a hero that deals a lot of burst damage. His R is just, like, huge damage. QW, just huge damage and stuns. And that's the reason why you pick him. And I think, like, Abathur is going to be a totally different experience. Like, I don't think you want someone who's not going to have, like, a lot of map awareness to pick Abathur. Like, if you have someone who doesn't have, like, a high APM, I don't think you want them on Abathur. Like, someone who really plays Abathur well, I think is going to totally make the game for your team. And I think he's a great hero. But it's going to be one of those things where, like, if you're looking to play this game seriously and maybe, like, down the road in the competitive scene, the strength of Abathur is more going to come down to the player as opposed to the strength of Abathur himself. Mm-hmm. But I definitely think there's a lot of potential there. And I he's not my personal hero I'm looking forward to using the most, but he's definitely going to be very interesting to the game because he is kind of so new as far as roles go.
All right, so that's a quick word on Abathur, guys. Number 2 on the list here on MMO Champion is Jim Raynor. So, resilient hero that knocks back enemies and buffs allies. We had a little bit of confusion in the last dev match that we had, at least on my part, because we really don't know that much about Jim, right? I mean, penetrating shot, obviously we saw that, and of course his Hyperion. And past that, we were just really kind of guessing what he actually does. So he actually has a skin that we'll show out a little bit later. But looking at his abilities, a lot less complicated to play than that of Abathur. But penetrating around, a damage and a knockback. Inspire, bonus move and attack speed for 20%. Don't know why they didn't call it Stim Pack. Hyperion for an R. There's no E list. Okay, there's an E listed here. Adrenaline Rush activates to heal when he's below 30%. So that's a passive. That's why we didn't really see anything else out of him. That just makes a lot of sense. And then the Hyperion and Raynor's Raiders, which have we seen that in a dev match? The Cloaked Banshees?
Yes.
Not in the dev match, but I believe it was in the deep dive panel where they were talking about that.
So
they actually showed off.
Then.
Yep.
Okay. Because I don't think I don't remember those Banshees. But we've seen the Hyperion a lot, especially more recently with the Day 9 match. And we also saw a confirmed bug now with the Hyperion. Because every time the Hyperion got summoned, Falstad, another hero, was just able to summon his Lightning Storm. And then it just destroyed the Hyperion. I thought that was really amazing. It was like, man, if only. But no, it's a confirmed bug. They've apparently fixed it, thank God. And the Hyperion will have smooth sailing from here out.
Did you see the difficulty listed on this NA? He's the tutorial, if I remember correctly.
No difficulty.
Well, there's actually several of the heroes have NA as a difficulty right now. Yeah. I don't think they want to call them easy. It feels like I think they might be looking for a term to use because people hate that term.
Basic.
Easy. Yeah, because you don't want to play an easy hero.
No, what kind of going on what Squishy said, they actually said, at the deep dive panel at BlizzCon that Raynor was going to be the initial hero you start out with and play through the tutorial. Similar to how you have Jaina and the mage deck in Hearthstone to start out. You do some PvE-oriented stuff, and then you unlock like the rest of the decks. And I can see this very, very similar, where you play Raynor and then start unlocking other heroes.
Yeah. He's fairly basic, obviously. Looking at his skill set there's not much to him. I actually got a chance to play him at BlizzCon. And he's fairly tanky, but he doesn't feel like he does tons of burst damage. He needs to be there, kind of sustained damage, stay within the fight, but on the outskirts of the fight, and then he will add up, as well as his ults, allowing him to be almost a siege and useful in those big team fights where you can apply the Hyperion, which kind of does AoE burst damage to everything there.
The burst, I would go with you for sure. I mean, he has Inspire for move speed and attack speed, and then Adrenaline Rush, which is a passive. Like, there's no giant burst that you can even activate. It's just penetrating around.
Well, what I was seeing again at when they showed off the Raynor's Raiders ability, his other heroic ability at the deep dive panel, was they were basically suggesting that if you go into that route where you spec into that, then you basically, you have Inspire, which lets you hunt people down, just basically chase people down, gives you the 20% movement and attack speed buff, along with Raynor's Raiders. And then the penetrating round, it was more used as kind of like, as a way to keep people off of you in the beginning, and then kind of as a lane control ability in team fights. Like, you push people back into fights. But yeah, it doesn't seem like he's going to have a whole lot of sustained damage unless he goes for the Raynor's Raiders route.
I've highlighted something that I thought was very strange. The Banshees attack for 12 damage.
Well, they were
quickly,
doing.
though.
It seemed like they were doing more damage than that.
It probably
Even
scales.
that's level 1.
Well, level
Yeah.
10, like level 10, because that's when they get their heroics. But yeah, 12 damage. Banshees, if I recall that from StarCraft, attack twice with the missiles, though. So wouldn't that be,
Yeah,
if
and-
it's 12
and there's
times
two-
2, and
Well,
times
look
2.
at there. The
Yeah.
Banshee's attack for 12 damage. His range damage per level is 12.
Yep.
So
Do you think it's actually, like, do they
I
just
think it's
function
pulling
as more
from
auto
there.
attacks? Yeah?
I don't know. I think it's just pulling up there from his stats
be.
almost.
They do identify very nicely. Hit the Hyperion, though. 100 damage per second to a random enemy in its target path. It says random enemy, so enemy unit, enemy creep, enemy building.
Yeah, we
Truly random.
Truly random.
saw it in the dev match. I mean, he would put it down when there was a creep wave there, and a bunch of enemies half the time would hit the hero, half the time it hits the creeps.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
It almost feels less scary of an ability though now. Like, oh, I don't mind standing in it because I've got a great chance of not being hit.
Yeah, if
Yeah, I
you're
feel
clustered up, yeah.
I feel like it should be there should be something here where they change either that it hits random areas and does an increased amount of damage, or prioritizes heroes, or
They
Something.
were advertising it as a pushing ability mostly. Like they were saying that if you wanted to play Jim Raynor more as like someone who like pushes into the base or pushes waves, that you would pick up Hyperion. And I agree. I still think it needs to have like a priority chain, or when it goes like say heroes, creep, and then tower or something like that. But right now, I think what they wanted to do is just basically be a pushing ability. And then if you attack it, if you go into the Hyperion's range when there's nothing else around it, and it's just you and the Hyperion, I guess you're going to take 100 damage a second, but anyone with kind of like any kind of IQ whatsoever will probably just push in against it with creeps, you know?
So combine Hyperion with the Golem.
It's like Juggernaut ults, right?
Push.
From Diablo, from Dota 2, or like the swordsman. He gets all those random attacks on random enemies, but if you're the only enemy, you're gonna land all the damage on top of you. So you never want to find Jim Raynor alone in an alleyway, because that Hyperion will come and just destroy you.
I think there'll be some interesting synergy though with more area of effect oriented heroes. Like you put out like you nuke down the creep wave and just make sure that Hyperion is hitting a tower. Like that, it's
Yeah,
going to
we-
be very good for pushing in that respect.
we actually did at some point in one of our shows we did a mock team compositions.
Yeah.
And one of them that was a common place through all of us was that we wanted to build a team where you're able to use multiple AoE ults with like an ETC that you can
Yeah,
stun and in the middle of a fight, and then like you said, knock out the wave and then just dump as much AoE effect on you as you can on these stun targets.
I'm probably going to draw a lot from League of Legends simply because it's the biggest and I have the most experience in it. But going for gigantic AoE comps is, there was that phase for a while. I mean, it's long past now, but if you catch any of them in an AoE stun, you just unload, unload, unload. So having a team come like that here, especially with, catching 2 or 3 of them all at once, then you go get an objective. That could be extremely powerful.
Yeah.
So looking at Raynor, again, we're going to take a quick look at talents. Can't spend a billion hours on all these guys because we do got a lot to go through. But attack damage and ability power for those buckets, again, common tier 1s. 1 attack range, 1 vision for as his third option there. But then, it gets into some interesting things. I've seen Vampiric Assault on some of the more attack heavy ones. So basic attacks heal you for 25 health. So now you get a little bit of built-in sustain. Jim already has his passive give me health back at 30%. But like, was there anything that really stuck out in your mind in these talents, guys?
Well,
Yes.
on the quick fingers, what the heck is lead from the front? I know I've heard it before, but it's nowhere on.
It's his passive.
abilities.
And they don't
okay.
list the
Oh, no.
passives, do they?
None of their passives are listed here,
Yeah.
but I know lead from the front is his passive.
just a pet peeve, I wouldn't say passive because half the passives are
Heroic talent.
Sure. Okay.
Active.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, they become active if you go into it that way.
Here,
They're
Well,
passes
like,
in general.
No,
Heroic
because
talents.
Sergeant Hammer has an active immediately heroic trait.
Yep.
You
False
can't
dead.
out-
found
Yep.
the
False
speed
dead. Right.
Yeah.
I found it. Lead from the front. Whenever an enemy that has been recently damaged by Raynor dies, his skills recharge slightly faster.
Where do you see that?
This is
Heroes of the
search
Storm.
somewhere else.
There's a Heroes of the Storm wiki I found.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Okay.
I'm not gonna bring that up.
I also really like that looking at some of these abilities. He has it's a tier 3. It's called Great Leader, and Raynor gains an additional 2% move or attack speed for each ally inspired. Which obviously it depends on how you plan on playing Raynor that game. you're looking to do something that's a little more push oriented and you're planning on kind of being off by yourself, I don't know how successful it's going to be, but obviously you're not going to pick something like that. Versus if you are looking for that team comp, like you were talking about, where you're going to constantly be around your allies, that's actually not a bad pick.
He really does seem like he's built like a Marine. Like, go back to StarCraft in the map editor, and anything you can make as a Marine, it's like right here in his talents. Move speed, attack speed, call down some Banshees, call down Battlecruiser, Stimpact. Is there like riot shields here? Because seriously, like the combat shields in StarCraft 2, plus 10 health. Look at that, plus 10% attack damage and ability power, but no health. Does he actually have any health abilities at all?
It doesn't look like. Closest thing is Spell Shield. Reduces damage received from hero abilities by 50%.
Stores up to 2 charges.
Yeah,
So
but nothing on health.
That's almost like a semi-Banshee's Veil.
He's a little weird because he's not tanky, per se, but he has a high level of sustain. Where
He has
he's
a high
gaining,
level of health, I want to say.
Yeah, he's gaining this health all the time, and he's able to kind of stay in lane. So yes, he's definitely a pushing champion, but I wouldn't rely on him to tank a fight for you because from personal experience, this guy will go down very fast if targeted by some of the more high damage champions.
I think he's in a group fight, but like if you look at something like his tier 3 Berserk, which increases attack speed by 40%, and you combine that with I just saw it. Their tier 5 Battle Fury, attack speed by 5%,
Attack damage
and it
by
stacks
8.
5 times.
That's
That's 65. That's 65% attack speed. You use that Berserk and stuff, and then mixed in with that. I mean, that's quite a bit of a speed advantage on his regular attack.
Like I said, he's kind of there for sustained damage. Something like Giant Killer, right? Basic attacks against enemy heroes deal an additional 1.5% of target's max health and damage. So he's taking out percentage health every time he deals a basic attack.
I love how every MOBA has Giant Killer in one way or the other.
Yeah, so I just want to mention, Giant Killer is Blade of the Ruined King's passive. Tier 6, Blood for Blood, is Blade of the Ruined King's active. Exactly.
You're going to recycle ideas at this late age of MOBAs.
That's the first thing I noticed.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
Jim Raynor has Blade of the Ruined King. Confirmed.
Confirmed. It's not a king per se, commander maybe, but, same deal.
He has a lot of kite potential as well.
I find it ironic they gave all this stuff names, to be quietly honest. I mean, I figured they just leave them in there with descriptions, tiers, and everything. So the fact that everything has a name is a little weird.
All right, so Raynor, we talked about him. Fairly straightforward. Get him up as an attack speed, move speed, zealot of some kind that just goes to ham on everyone. What's actually really fun is he has an alternate skin that I have a picture of. And, America! That's,
Yeah, no Canada ones. No Canada one, Jester.
That.
Yeah,
I'll live. That was the skin that I played with. It was I liked it.
I'll live without it. It's okay.
It was funny to watch.
What we learned, no matter what the weather, Raynor will always be a solid pick, rain or shine.
Wow! On to the next champion for that note. The next on the list is the Witch Doctor. So Nazeeba. And again, 100% pick ban rate, I think we've actually seen. And it's really just the pick rate. Do I not have a picture of Nazeeba?
Probably not.
No, that one,
No?
It wasn't in the breast kit for whatever
Okay,
reason.
no picture. So that's totally not the right thing. We'll go here. All right, so Witch Doctor, the Witch Doctor is the other one of the 3 heroes from Diablo, just like the Demon Hunter, just like the Barbarian, and Diablo himself, of course. But we've seen him a lot, so I mean, there's not really going to be too much new about this, except that we do get, all of his hits. 57 attack damage. He hits harder than Raynor.
No, Raynor had 61, I thought.
Did he?
Raynor has 63.
Okay.
Yeah,
never
but
mind then.
there's a trade-off here to that. He hits really hard, but he also feeds very aggressively, as you've seen in just about every match. Like
that is your thing
Nazba
with Witch Doctor.
is really, really good at dying. Like if you see Nazba, like for some reason, when he should be in the back in all the developer matches, he's always way up front. Like the rest of the team's back here, Nazba's like way up front. He's like, let's fight. Face
Also,
me.
the range damage per level is also in half of Raynor's.
Okay, so he doesn't hit
feeds
a ton.
very aggressively.
He
I
feeds
like
very,
it.
yeah.
He's just manning the feed wagon.
We needed the Karthus. We needed the Karthus passive on him instead of Uther because he just dies a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I see where you're going with that. Corpse Spider, Zombie Wall, Plague of Toads, and then of course the Ravenous Spirit or the Gargantuan. And have we actually seen both? Have we ever only really seen the Ravenous
No.
Spirit?
The Ravenous Spirit, I mean, that thing looks wicked. The thing comes up, starts flailing around
Yep.
everywhere. But
50 damage a
Gargantuan
second.
Gargantuan sounds entertaining. Gargantuan deals 35 damage, throws enemy minions at targets, dealing 100 splash damage.
That's amazing.
It's probably not
That's great.
But I feel like that one is so situational usage as a ultimate. Like you got to have enemy minions around it before that to be useful.
Yeah,
How many
most
times
team
in
fights.
the late game
yeah.
that those minions are dead so fast? it's
Or you're fighting in the
useless.
jungle. Yeah.
Naziba has.
Maybe it throws
He's
the
been-
siege giant at you. I don't know.
Naziba's been labeled. Oh my god.
That'd be amazing.
Naziba's been labeled as a.
Could you do that? Like if you get minions from the
It
jungle,
just says
and they
enemy
come down your
minions.
lane,
That's all
and
it
you just
says.
throw 'em?
Do
Just a giant grave golem incoming.
do the siege actually count as enemy minions when they convert?
No, they're mercenaries,
Okay.
not minions.
That would be
Gotcha.
amazing, though. That'd be totally
But
amazing.
Naziba's been labeled as kind of a siege person, you know,
Yeah.
for pushing. One of the devs even said, Naziba excels at pushing down towers and forts and turrets and all that stuff.
Yep.
So having something that goes with a minion wave just makes sense.
That said, I gotta say, every time I see Nazba use Ravenous Spirit in these developers matches, I'm just kind of like he's totally stationary. Like he is completely
it's channeling.
stationary, and
You're channeling.
obviously,
Yes, it's channeling.
as we've established, Nazba dies very easily. Like a stiff breeze comes over and Nazba's dead, and like I'm always dumbfounded by watching the developers like just run like 5 of them just running away from this thing as opposed to just like circling around and just killing him.
50
Well, it
damage a
sounds like
second. It's AoE, man.
No, Ravenous Spirit is really good, and I think
Yeah.
it is really, really good. I think the problem is going to be when using this ability is that I think better players, like Illidan's, Zeratul, are just going to be like, wait a minute, I'm just going to blink back and kill him. Like, this is ridiculous. I'm just going to go
You'll
kill
stay
him.
at range.
And you're either going to kill him or force him to stop using the ability. Like, to be honest, I don't really like either of his heroic abilities. Like, I feel like the one is too situational, I agree. And then and it's good for pushing. But I guess with Ravenous Spirit, I feel like right now it looks pretty deadly because you're not really seeing like high-tier MOBA players playing against it. But I just don't feel like he's going to get to use that ability very often because, like, I don't know, like, doesn't it seem to you guys like it should just get disabled very quickly?
You have to depend upon your team. Like, you have to depend for them to shield you. You got to be in the back, and you're channeling. Like, we've seen the range on that thing is what? Up to almost looks like 2 screens away. Like, you can channel this thing. So, yeah, if you have good positioning, it's definitely doable. But if your team sucks and leaves you to die, as you said, a stiff breeze will be enough to take him out.
Or
If you have some
to be
hard
fair,
CC.
or if you're just the Nazba we see in all these developer matches, for some reason you're way out of position. It's
Yeah.
not your team's fault. You're just way up in the front.
Well, it's just like
Yeah.
Justin says. Like, hard CC, you're channeling something, stun. Damn. Oh, all right, well, that was my ultimate.
that was fun.
Yep, yeah, exactly.
yeah.
It's like, GG! You're gone.
Yeah.
All
If
right.
you look at him like a Sergeant Hammer, I think, right, where he's just you need to stay away from people. Like you are the siege. You're that version of a weird version of Sergeant Hammer sieging.
You're a
Well,
much more
doesn't-
spider
Spiders.
version. Yeah.
Hold on,
Doesn't
hold on.
Sergeant Hammer actually have the bigger range? Like, just out of curiosity, doesn't Sergeant Hammer
Yes.
have like the inherent like siege tank range? Like that and being a siege tank, I think will appeal to people's reasonable nature to be like, oh, I'm a siege tank. I
We'll
should
get
be
to
back
Sergeant
here.
Hammer in a bit. Don't give too much away.
Yeah.
Hold on. I
That's
have an
fair.
idea.
Okay.
It's
Is
mind
this a pun?
games.
Is this a pun, Squishy?
No, it's not a pun.
Okay, just
So
checking.
you know how you were talking about how he has no innate ability, right?
Yeah.
So his W, the zombie.
Yeah.
What if it's not designed to keep people in, but it's designed to
Oh.
keep you safe? Bam! Mind blown.
Well, no,
Good.
depending
Very well
on
good.
depending on how that works, because Ratchet's wall in Dota, if I remember correctly, if somebody's like in a certain range, it pushes them back out.
Yeah, but we haven't seen that
Like-
with us. He
I
you
know
totally
that's-
trap
No,
people
no,
with
it's
us.
just saying. I don't know.
I see
Doesn't
why
Put
work.
he's
it
a
down and
pusher,
then you start
though.
channeling.
Look at his tier 1 talent Bribe.
Yeah, the talents are going to be the next topic. Bribe, I've seen on a few different guys that you can do. So it's again another one of those comments. But 50 stacks every time you kill someone, 50 stacks, and you can activate to capture target mercenary camp.
Gotta
Does
get that
not
last hitting.
Yep.
Gotta
That's
get
pretty-
that last hits.
Pretty sweet,
For a game
yeah.
that doesn't want
I-
last hits, all of a sudden we have a last hit mechanic.
Yeah, but
Oh,
just wrote
yeah.
can't throw him. Just you're good. And then you go get that mercenary camp.
Now,
Or you just start running around minions and circle them up in this circle and then just throw them all.
does it says kill enemy minions? Does it actually mean be near them when they die, or literally get the last hit? Because that's going to be a big difference.
His passive, which isn't listed here, it's a poison that does damage over time,
Right.
and if someone dies while under that poison, he heals and gains mana.
That's his
And
tier 1
there's
talent.
even a no. That's his passive. He restores health and mana. His tier 1 talent is he permanently gains health and mana, like maximum.
Yeah, that's like additional
Oh.
on top.
Yeah, and that's
So that
permanently gained. Like that's increasing
Yeah.
your max.
That's actually a pretty big decision at tier 1 for him. That death ritual or
that-
bribe, I mean,
Or ability
That's
power.
two last hitting mechanics then.
or ability power, yeah.
So
Yeah,
maybe
it's
it's
two
just-
last hitting mechanics on
So I
this
think
person.
we've just been seeing people play Nazeeba who just like to feed. Maybe that's
Maybe we don't have
Yeah.
a good role model yet.
Yeah.
Does he have a trait that talks about when he dies? I mean,
Well,
is that why?
let's take a quick look. All right, so superiority reduces damage, increase the size of your toads because that's sexy. Corpse spiders now leap, so they're zerglings. You know, I mean, I don't see anything yet. Remove cleanse. Oh, so we got cleanse. Nice. I like
There's
that.
nothing.
Ice
There's nothing
block.
in these talents that says if you strike down Nazba, he'll return more powerful than you could possibly imagine. I don't
That would be an amazing storm talent.
really.
Periodically reduces damage received from hero basic attacks by 50%. 2 charges, block,
Wait,
or spell
Clearly
shield,
no one-
which is does. the
Clearly,
other
no
one.
one invests in that.
Can you read
Well, no.
Stone's-
It's
Can
the
you
other
read-
one that they take. Ice block. We've seen ice block multiple times on Nazeeba. Right.
Sophist, I know where you're going. I know where you're going, Sophist.
Read the tier 6 stone skin talent.
Activate to gain 800 shields for 5 seconds.
100 shields.
Oh my god.
Maybe it,
800 shields. Voodoo ritual, 800 shields just pop out of the ground.
No, I just literally.
The
just
whole
like-
map's covered.
What was that in StarCraft when you create StarCraft 1 where you created too many units and like it was CCMU and you couldn't make any more units and it just all these shields pop up.
Oh, I just want to see that now.
Yeah, can we make that a thing? Can that actually exist in the game?
but you were also talking about, you know, how you're squishy. You know, going for Stone Skin at rank 6, it's either what, Constant Heroism, Rewind, Stone Skin, or Zombie Wall. Like, if you're really afraid of dying, you take Stone Skin. 800
Yeah.
damage shield, start channeling, go to town. You know?
That card
Rewind
gets
just
you.
seems. Yeah, good.
I was
it's
gonna say,
kind of one of those things where as you're playing him, you're going to be like, am I having an optimistic Nazba game or am I having a realistic Nazba
Do
game?
I feel like
If you're having
I
a realistic
need
Nazba game,
help?
You're
Yeah.
probably going to take Stone Skin. If you're having like a good Nazba game, maybe you take Zombie Wall. Yeah, maybe you don't need to survive as much.
You can feed more. That's the point.
Like
Well, I've already died 8 times, so let's just go
let's
for
roll
it.
with it. Let's roll with it.
All right, Squishy, last word on Witch Doctor before we
Yes.
move on.
Just overall, that bribe talent, it doesn't seem that great. With 7
doesn't.
minions
No.
a wave, that's 7 waves.
More than that.
What about
Yeah.
what about in the haunted mines though? What if you go down there and start clearing stuff out?
That
There's
is what.
that.
Okay, I could see that.
Now, but also think about it. One use of bribe per game could mean the difference. Because
Late
how long
game.
does it take you to clear a mercenary camp? I mean, realistically,
Hold on.
30
Just-
seconds.
Later on in the game, it's a shorter period of time, isn't it? Wouldn't it
Yeah,
be
But
sort
you invest your team to go do it. So
Early in the game, you
just go there and be like, "Yo, you're with me. Let's go."
That's perfect
Yeah.
last
Let's
hitting
roll.
too. That's absolute perfect last hitting.
Are there 50
as
guys
far
down
as
there?
we know,
Yeah, it's like
There's
there's a hunt.
there's 74.
wow, almost
Yeah.
almost absolute last hit. But if you're going down there by yourself, you're gonna
No,
get it.
just even like yeah.
Mm.
But are you ever gonna be down there alone? I don't doubt it.
No, but
Assuming
you
it's
just
last
down
hit.
there fighting off the opposing team and letting you just farm these things up. You know what I mean? Like you harass the other team while you get as many as you
Yeah.
can with the Witch Doctor. That's you don't have to get all 50 in one turn down there, but I mean that really significantly increases that bribe. I would assume.
Well, we'll have to just hope that the alpha it will fall into one of our hands that's not squishy, and we obtain it legally, and and we play with it. So, Witch Doctor done. Gazlo. Do I have an image of Gazlo?
The boss of Ratchet.
Dr. Feed.
Because that is Rainer.
No, Nazba's Dr. Feed.
That's
Yeah.
Rainer. So
Gazlo
goodbye,
cannot
Rainer
challenge his
America.
crown.
Gazlo, 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 Gazlo. No Gazlo. Okay, so no Gazlo for viewing pleasure. That's alright, but he's like the Heimerdinger of of heroes. Rocket
Gun.
turret creates a turret, deals damage. Yay! Death laser, pew pew, all good. Explodium charge, Robo Goblin, and Gravo Bomb. I don't actually know really what his ults do.
It says
Well, there's a bunch of
Gravo.
question marks in Robo Goblin. He
Yeah.
does question mark damage.
Turns into an unstoppable Robo Goblin.
Deals.
Deals
Basic
damage.
attack deals shrug.
Well, that's what the image we've seen of him is. Just he's just in that freaking robot.
Do
He's
they
always
not
in that
know
robot.
how much damage, or do they just
Is
not
he?
know if it deals damage?
I think it's just the tooltip, right? This is just extracted data from tooltip. So it literally could be just like replace on question mark this number modified
Yeah.
by talents. Very well could be an easy programming gimmick like that. But so I don't think we've actually seen Gravo Bomb, to be honest.
No. Have we? I don't think so.
I mean, I could see it.
I'm not
being
sure
really
we've actually seen
powerful.
Robo Goblin, to be honest, either. But
we haven't
maybe
seen-
maybe we're just not looking at the right place at the right time.
We
right?
saw Gazlowe in the second Blackheart's Bay map where he
Yep.
no, it wasn't Blackheart's Bay. It was
Wasn't it? No.
second haunted
Yeah.
mines map.
Cursed
And
Hollow.
the first no, it was haunted mines. Because I remember because I was talking to Zen Style about how that Gazlowe was in the mines walking back and forth while Valis
Right.
shot him
Yeah.
in the slit.
Nova destroyed him easily.
Yeah, and Gaz was like, I'm going up, I'm going down, I'm going up.
I don't know where I'm
down."
going. I don't know where I'm going.
This is
I
really
will be-
unfortunate.
He's like, I will feed harder than Nazgûl. You can't stop me.
Battle of the Feeds. Battle of the Feeds. Death Laser does 60 to 120 charged damage. Damage and range increase the longer the ability's charged up. That seems very Varus-like, except it also scales the damage.
Varus does as well, so it is
Yeah.
a Varus arrow.
Oh, fizzled. Oh, damn.
Does anybody else look at Gravo Bomb as kind of like a poor man's Enigma black hole?
Maybe. I did think of that. Yeah.
I almost,
It's not even
It's
channel.
more.
Like,
It's more of a vacuum. Dark Seer.
Depends how much. Yeah, exactly. That's actually better, but it depends on like how quickly it pulls people. Like we haven't, like you said, we haven't seen it yet. But
Oriana
if it actually
Shockwave.
like,
Yeah,
if it's a
Shockwave.
quick pull, if it's a
Yeah.
quick pull in, that could actually be a really amazing ability to start team fights.
Well, we mentioned right earlier, AOE-centric team comps. Bam!
Yeah,
right
well-
there. Grab them all. Bring the hammer.
Not only
Done.
that, but Gazlowe also does a ton of nuke damage.
Death
Yeah.
laser,
Stun
explodium
them,
charges,
you all
turrets. Yeah.
You stun them, you pull them in, and then you throw minions at them with the gargantuan.
Or you
100 slash,
you pull
100
him in, then
slash.
stun him.
Oh god, I don't think any team could actually house Nazba and Gazlowe. They would never get anything done. It's like, oh man, we're 3v5, this is fun.
feeder. Yep.
We're gonna
One
start a
talent I just
Nazba.
noticed.
Yep.
Tier 1, Demolitionist. Basic attacks against
Yes.
enemy towers destroy 2 ammo.
Bam! Look at that. He's a
That
siege, right? He's
seems-
siege.
Yeah,
He's
is
totally
a
siege.
siege specialist, whatever, but that seems overpowered.
2
I think it
ammo.
depends.
Basic
on-
attacks.
Depends on which point in the game, because like obviously by the end, towers are really like we've seen
They're
towers
kinda
just not do
depleted
much by the end of the
anyways.
game, but
Yeah.
in the beginning, that could actually be a pretty nasty talent.
Well,
and
That's
the-
10% of its ammo.
and the map, right? So Cursed Hollow,
Yeah.
if you curse them, it doesn't matter. Like they're not
True.
shooting anyways.
You're
So
depleting ammo off a turret that's not already shooting.
yeah.
Worth.
So it's
If you unintent.
it's a very early game talent, which is probably why it's tier 1, guys.
yeah. Oh,
Well, yeah, and the decision there is like really, if you pick it, you're very much committing to an early push style.
And if you think about it, it shouldn't actually even say 2, it should say 3, because if you're going to be in tower range, it's going to be shooting either at you or at somebody else. So if it's shooting at you, it just expended a charge, and then you shot back and destroyed 2, and you can
Well,
actually extend that.
towers. Just
we
two
said
towers.
it's 20. The basic towers have 20 ammo, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
replenishes
so that
every 10.
actually, depending on how quickly he attacks, could if you get the tower to hit something else, creeps, maybe like an
Attack
Arcus,
speed,
something fun.
1.25 seconds, and they
Yeah, so
go
it's
up
nothing-
5% every level.
It's nothing to write home about initially,
No,
which is
not
when this
really.
would really matter the most.
So call it 1 a second, right? Pew, 2 ammo, pew, 2 ammo, pew, 2
But then
ammo.
check out that level 2 talent, right? Death Laser Mastery 1. Death Laser slows heroes, but it also freezes minions or structures for 3 seconds. So you can Death Laser a turret, get in there, take
that's
a couple
Warcraft
shots.
3 right there. That's like the
That is
Frost Breath.
that really makes Gazlowe, like if you're gonna run an early game push strategy, like Gazlowe's kind of a core pick.
Yeah,
He's
he
in my-
seems huge against these mechanics.
He's in my base
Yeah.
race strategy. Just FYI now.
He's in your base.
He's
Base
gonna be
rate.
really good with the grave golems, actually.
We're
Golems.
gonna
Nothing
take
wrong
this
with it.
tower, but we're gonna take this town by 10 minutes, or I'm feeding. That's what's happening.
All push or feed, the new heroes meta going in. We all know who to blame. It's going to be
Pusher.
Sophist. Find him on Twitter.
Pusher feed. That would be the name of the team with
Pusher
Nazla
feed.
and Gaslit and Pusher feed.
It's going to be one or the other, right? One
Gazla,
or the
Witch
other.
Doctor, and the grave golem. Just have them all go.
Those first grave golems. That's it.
Tier 2, Vampiric Assault. Again, that's kind of coming up a few times. We also saw Bribe back at Tier 1. Relentless Cleanse again. So Relentless, reduces all that fun stuff. Tinker Clockwork Steam Fists. Say that 10 times fast. But there you go. Basic attacks. Reduce your abilities by 0.5 seconds. Get out all those rockets and turrets.
That's a real quick bumping up to Tier 5 Exploding Charge. Exploding Charge can now be cast twice in rapid succession. It's kind of neat.
Burn it.
Basically
What?
have,
Where's?
two of those.
You said Tier
That's
5?
Tier 5. Yep.
Oh god, there's a lot
Exploding
of Tier
Charge.
5 stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, most of them are pretty common, but the one that's really specific to him is the Explodium Charge,
Yep.
which allows him to cast that Explodium Charge ability twice in succession. So
Pew pew.
that, if you look at that places a bomb that deals 65 damage to enemies within target
Yep.
area after 4 seconds,
So scaling.
stunning them
Yep.
for 2. So that's, I mean, if you look at really what we were talking about, having the Gravel Bomb for team fights, and then getting, specking into that, and then having 2 Explodium Charges, which each one stuns for 2 seconds. That's actually, I think that's pretty huge.
I like Tier 6, the rocket turret masteries. Turrets now hit up to 2 additional targets. So depending on how many turrets you can have down in a big team fight, if you put down 2 of them, you're literally hitting the entire team.
There's so
This
much
guy definitely looks like
customization
a lot
on
of fun.
Gaslow here. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I was basically going to echo that. A lot of his talents that are specific to him are really pretty
Start skinning
big.
him.
800.
Yeah, he gets 800 shields
Oh,
again.
hold on. What if we combine Nazima and Gaslow?
Oh
you
my
can
God.
beat
crashes.
all you
The
want.
game crashes.
So many
You can
shields.
put 1,600 shields on the map.
Yes! Never
You're-
break those shields.
I am not feeding with 1,600 shields on this map. It's not happening.
No, you don't think you're going to, but then you're playing Gazla or Nazba, so of course you're gonna.
Alright, Rocket Turret. The tooltip says, creates a turret that deals 30 damage base, attacks, slow movement speed by 25%, lasts for 30 seconds. So they do have a timer, but the cooldown's every 15. So you can have 2 of these if you place them right in a team fight. So again, you could have a lot of AoE spread that also now does AoE movement drain of 25%. So again, AoE centric, you could really throw that in. Throw in your Explodium charges. That's stuns, slows. He does really seem very push and early siege heavy for sure.
Well, there's the 2 options, right? You could push, or you could have an AoE team comp. Those seem to be these two differing perspectives of how to play him here.
Yeah.
Do you want to push fast, or do you want to have a good AoE team fight?
And as we saw with him versus Nova, you don't want to go toe to toe with anyone because you're gonna lose that.
No, it's pusher. It's pusher.
Push your feet, right? Yeah. Push or fight and feed. Yeah. Exactly.
You only have 2 options.
Hold on,
you
wait,
can't
no.
do anything else.
Wait, no, I'm putting these turrets down. Hold on. Wait. No fair.
All right. So Justin, last word.
This guy?
Yeah.
Where's the pun? Come on, the closing
One
pun.
word.
The closing pun for Gazlo the Tinker, from Ratchet, from WoW, turrets, Heimerdinger.
Jeez.
All right. Good enough. Tassadar, going up next.
Don't like that guy. Yeah, don't give me that.